Hi, I'm Renée Walker, a mindset mentor, speaker, and lover of all things spiritual. I believe that at our core, we are all spiritually wired for love, peace, success, and abundance. Here on the podcast, we're diving into mindset, wellness, and business, but always through a spiritual lens. Let's just say we're going deep, but we're keeping it light. So let's elevate your life from the inside out, one conversation at a time. Welcome to Spiritually Wired. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Spiritually Wired podcast. I am just coming back from an incredible weekend. I was hosting the Align and Design Soul Retreat with my friend, colleague, Brenda Jasmin. She's the host of the She Flourishes Podcast. And so this was our second time hosting this weekend retreat together. We've done many one-day retreats, but this was our second time hosting a full weekend retreat. And let me tell you that it was very transformative. It was just so incredibly powerful to witness what happens when you bring women together with a shared intention to grow, to, of course, align energetically, and also to support each other. And I thought I would share with you some of the 5 major takeaways that I'm bringing back with me from our time together. And some of these insights will inspire you to perhaps embrace your wholeness, to let go of perfection, to navigate the challenges of healing, to set some expansive goals, and ultimately harness the power of connection. So let's just jump into it. We're going to begin with the first big takeaway, which is the concept of I am her. This was one of the core themes that we explored during the retreat. The idea of I am her. And this concept is about recognizing that we are already whole, we are already complete, we're already filled with light. And so instead of trying to become someone different, it really is about over time, we start to create stories. We start to actually build layers around ourselves in order to protect ourselves. And in order, those stories are made to really protect us, and they can over time create separation between who you are, your higher self, your true self, and the version of you that is here today. And so it leaves us feeling a little bit lost. It leaves us feeling like we have to find her, we need to become her, when in reality, we already are her. And so this is something that I know for me I've struggled with because, and I know that this is a wording thing that people will use, but it's so important to really be in a space of being aligned with our higher self now. The more disconnected we are, the more we believe ourselves to be disconnected from her, then the more we stand in a place of lack. There is an episode that I recorded. So the last episode I recorded with Marsha Van Weinsberg. And I really encourage you, if you haven't listened to that episode, we discuss this, like the importance of healing the stories that we've created. We talk a lot about using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, but it really is like healing is so vital to being able to peel back those layers and embracing who we are. But it is a peeling, it is an uncovering, it is a coming back to who you are, as opposed to going to find yourself outside of yourself. And that has been one of the biggest shifts and lessons that I've had on a spiritual lesson myself. Was for years, I kept thinking that this, my higher self lived outside of myself and I needed to go find her, when it was like realizing that I actually already am her. And what a relief. To me, it means that we can let go of that expectation of doing anything more in order to be her, when you actually recognize that you can stand in the space of I am her. There's a great book on this sort of like similar topic. It's called The Gap and the Gain. I mean, obviously they look at it from a different perspective, the authors, but it speaks to the power of really being or focusing on who we are and acknowledging the progress that we've made. So looking behind, acknowledging the progress that we've made, rather than being in a space of idealizing who we think we should be. Because when we have this ideal version of ourselves, when our higher self is this ideal version who is, weighs a certain amount of weight, and she is parents a certain way, and she's the successful business owner, and she, her house is perfect and clean, and she never loses her temper, and all of those things, then we again distance ourselves from her, because now we are coming from a place of lack. So we are focusing on the gap in this case, the gap between ourselves today and this idealized version of who we think we should be. And the more we are in that gap, we are more disconnected from our essence. We're in that space. So focusing on the gain, on who we are now, on embodying her in this moment, we're bridging that gap now. And it really comes from a place of embodying her. In terms of energy, I love to talk about it or really look at it from an energetic perspective. And to me, if we look at it energetically, we can associate it with the chakras. It comes down to I am her. I am her is the root chakra. It's your foundation. You are in the space of being her. I am her. The sacral chakra is all about the emotions, the feelings. So to me, it's I feel her. I feel her. The solar plexus, your center of power, your strength, your confidence. I show up as her. What are the actions that you take, the inspired actions? How are you showing up? So I show up as her. The heart chakra, I love her. I am kind to her. I am compassionate towards her. I love her. The throat chakra is your center of expression, your voice. I express her. Your third eye is your sense of seeing, yes, but being connected to your intuition, being connected, listening, paying attention. And this one is I see her. I see her. And your crown chakra is really that embodiment of your higher self. I embody her. So these affirmations are a beautiful way to express her. You can imagine, visualize them sort of moving up your energy centers and really bridging the gap embodying her completely, fully here in the now. So I am her. I feel her. I show up as her. I love her. I express her. I see her. I embody her. So that was the concept of I am her. And I really invite you to embrace that, to step into the essence of her in this moment right now, knowing that it already is. There's nothing more that you need to be. You are whole. You are complete in this moment. One of the other takeaways that resonated, I know for me at a deeper level, is letting go of perfection. So that was another huge insight that we explored, letting go of the need for perfection, because growth, healing is not about being flawless. It is really about continuously choosing to align with the version of you that is your higher self. So that is, you are her and you are choosing to be her. There are so many different moments when you can be pulled away, and that is okay. So the idea of embodying her is more a moment to moment choice that you have. And recognizing that transformation, shifts, healing, it comes from those small, imperfect steps that we take. It really is embracing the journey rather than focusing only on the outcome. I remember, I was sharing an experience or an example of this was recently I was working on a corporate project that there was a lot of different pieces that were involved. And one of the mindsets that I am working actively on healing is the all or nothing mindset. And so for me, it's very easy to slip into a space of when I do something, I go all in and I love it. I feed off of the energy of being all in, but everything else sort of is put aside. So I'm either all in or I'm all out. And I've recognized this in myself over many years. I've been actively working on shifting this mindset. And in shifting the mindset, what that means is creating a new story of how I do things. So as I was working on this specific project, I could feel myself slipping back into the all or nothing mindset. So I was putting my well-being, I had been really committed to my workouts, my nutrition. I was feeling great. And then as I was working more and more, the deadline was approaching, I could feel myself slipping back into that mindset, letting everything else or leaving everything else aside and going all in on this mindset. It's kind of like reminds me of the university days where you would just cram for an exam and you'd go all in, which, fine in those university days, but we all know that that's not a sustainable way in which we can live. So as I was noticing, I could just notice myself slipping into it. I had a moment of realization, a moment of awareness where I'm like, hold on a second. This is no longer who I am. I've already rewritten this story. I am not someone who goes all in or all out. I am not someone who chooses to compromise my health and my well-being in order to only work. I've rewritten this story already. I am someone who chooses to prioritize my health even as I'm working on bigger projects, even as I am thriving in my business, growing in my business. So it was such an important shift because as I recognize it, and I'm like, wait a second, this is no longer my story. This is not who I am. I am choosing differently. And so that is how we rewrite our stories. It's in those moments in which we recognize it. And listen, I can't tell you that it's been perfect since, but that particular awareness has helped me now in getting, recognizing, right? The awareness around when I feel myself slipping back into that mode, I can feel it, recognize it, and then I can choose differently. I am constantly writing this story. And so that's been so incredibly helpful. I took a break. I'm like, you know what? I am going to go work out. And I worked out even the morning in which there was a few presentations. I still went to the gym, worked out, came back. I had more energy to give to our client than I probably would have the other way. So I share this because we are all writing stories. We're all rewriting stories. However, we have the power to rewrite those stories. And that's what's important. It's not like those stories aren't bigger than us. If that story doesn't serve you anymore, if you've written a story in order to protect yourself years ago or whatever that story may be, you get to rewrite it. That is in your power. So as we repeat, and the more that we repeat these new stories, the more that we rewrite them, the stronger they become, the less we tend to get pulled away from them, right? It's like one of those things that we are more and more, the new story becomes our way of being. In the beginning, maybe we have to really be intentional, really be actively rewriting, but over time, it happens easier. The third takeaway was really recognizing that healing can be messy. One of the truths about hosting these transformative events, and as a coach, as a spiritual teacher, if there is one thing that I always try to keep real for people, is that the healing aspect, the shifts, the transformation, don't necessarily come from like a fun and everything is red roses and this Zen, transformative, very, moment. I wish it was. And sometimes we have super cool experiences in meditations. We did a guided meditation with a sound bath healing. We had a beautiful woman, her name is Karen Agro, and she guided us through a sound bath that honestly, I still have tingles in my body from that experience. I could have stayed in that meditation for such a long time. So sometimes we have those moments that are just like, wow, you're connected, you're open. We call that like bliss. So that can happen. And also, a lot of the time, healing can be very difficult. It's hard. And I do emphasize that in my classes, in my teachings, because when we are diving deep, emotions are going to come up. Now, the good thing, and this is the part that I also share, is that everything that comes up to be released. So it's not coming up to make you more upset. It's not coming up to cause you more hurt or pain. It's coming up so that it can be released. It's not easy, especially we live in a society, an environment where the way in which we handle things is usually by avoiding them. We have access to so many different distractions, whether it's binging Netflix shows or having or multiple glasses of wine or eating or work. There's so many different ways in which we can distract ourselves. So an emotion comes up in order to be released. And we have two options. We can either allow for it to move through, which is part of the healing process, Or we can be like, ooh, this does not feel good. It feels uncomfortable. And so I'm going to push it down. I'm going to look the other way. I'm going to distract myself instead of allowing myself to feel it. And I am not saying this from any judgment. And trust me, I have done my fair share of that as well, because it is not easy. So when we can recognize that everything that comes up so that it can be released and healed, it can hopefully give a certain sense of comfort. There's a certain comfort in that. It's why crying is actually a good thing. We, again, tend to stop ourselves from crying when crying is the best release there is. So another invitation is for you to really bring awareness to when you are feeling an uncomfortable emotion. See if you can sit with it, even if it's for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, however long it may be. They say that it takes 90 seconds for it to be dissolved, released. But give yourself permission to be with it, even though it's uncomfortable. This too shall pass. It never lasts. It's just for that moment. And once you've been able to release it, then it doesn't have the same charge, right? It will come up again. It's unlikely that it's like, oh, now it's all gone. However, because you've allowed yourself, you've been brave and courageous, and you've let yourself move through it, then the next time it shows up, you're not going to resist it in the same way. You're going to be like, okay, I've gone through this before. I've looked at this, and it's uncomfortable, but it passes. So that is, in the types of retreats that we host, there can be a lot of things that show up. And so it's hard work, right? It can be a lot of hard work, and it's also so incredibly rewarding. It's when we feel those profound shifts occurring, is when we let ourselves feel the messy and we go with it. So that was another part, another reminder at the retreat that healing can just be messy, yet if you are brave enough to go through the process, the release, there is tremendous relief on the other end. The fourth takeaway is the power of taking time to regroup and to set some expansive goals. There is so much to be said for taking time for yourself, disconnecting from all of the everyday lives and the people in your life and the demands on your time, your energy, the expectations that are on you in some way, shape, or form. But to take some time for yourself to recalibrate, to reset, and to really refocus on what truly matters. The interesting thing is that, you can do those things on your own. You don't have to go to a retreat in terms of like designing your life and doing all those things. And, it's a big part of the membership that I have. The Spiritually Wired membership is really integrating that into our day. So you don't have to go to a retreat, but there is something really incredibly powerful about leaving the space that you're always in, going somewhere else. So energetically, you're surrounded, like you're in a different energy. Not only there's the physical space, but then there's the people around you. But it's like your higher self, your soul knows that it's here. It's here to play. It's here to work. It's here to have fun, to design, to do things. So that is also that other really incredible, beautiful, expansive thing that happens is when we give ourselves the time and space to just disconnect and to come. That's when a lot of the goals, the dreams that we have come up because now we're giving it space and we're also giving it importance. So that was the design piece of our Align and Design retreat. And Brenda she did such a beautiful job leading a goal-setting journey that was inviting everyone to dream big and to, we kind of started with many goals, narrowing them down to 3, to then sort of identifying like our gold star goal. And that was like a stretch goal that really represented something that was meaningful, something that would create impact, but something that lights you up. And when was the last time that you actually gave yourself time to work and to refocus on what lights you up? And what I love about incorporating this dreaming, this goal setting, this designing piece to the retreat is that the beauty of a goal it's never actually about the goal itself. It's never about the achieving. It's about the growth, the transformation that happens as you show up for this goal. And that is the piece. It's who you're becoming, like the energy that you're tapping into as you honor. There's a reason why this outcome, this goal, this dream is in your heart, and it's not there by accident. It's there because it belongs to you. It's there because your soul is aligned with it, and your soul wants you to work towards it. It's calling you towards it, not because you have to, because it is a part of your soul's purpose. So when we truly let ourselves be in the space of what lights me up, and then you work on what lights you up, your entire energy field shifts. And not only does it shift for you, but it shifts for everyone around you. And so really kind of stepping into that, not playing small, playing big, and having fun with it, letting it be a creative process, because that is it. It's like the energy, your soul is calling you towards something, and that is not an accident. It is there because it is meant for you. So hearing everyone share their dreams, honestly, was so inspiring. And it was one of my most joyful moments during the retreat was just standing and listening. And we had people share it from a place of it already having been achieved. We had done some NLP work towards it. And boy, people were coming alive. And it's about saying yes to your fullest potential, your fullest expression of who you are. And that energy is magnetic. It is incredible to see where everyone comes together. And part of the exercise that we were doing around it was, so I was leading people through, again, it's an NLP exercise, but then planting that goal into the future. And when we plant that goal in the future, it creates a ripple effect, and that ripple effect aligns. So it's that's where, as we know, okay, we're bringing it into the future, you create this ripple effect. It's everything else aligns itself. It's the universe is oh, okay, this is what we're creating. So now I'm going to realign in order to bring the people, the circumstances, the situations, whatever it is that she needs in order to create this goal already is happening. It's already shifted. So it sort of takes away the idea of I have to do this on my own. And sometimes the heaviness that comes with oh my gosh, this goal feels so big. How am I going to ever do this? And, I've wanted to do this for a long time and I've not done it so far. So why would this change? But the power of the subconscious mind, when you really bring the subconscious mind into it, and then you fully trust, again, this word trust came up so many times because it's about trusting that as you bring your awareness, your energy to it, everything aligns for you and everything is unfolding for you, not against you. It's always unfolding for you. And I'd say that the fifth takeaway, and again, I probably could continue for a while here, but one of the biggest things was the power of connection. And this leaves me in a place of, it was very humbling, to be honest, and just so incredibly inspiring to witness the power of women coming together, and women coming together in such a supportive and an uplifting way. And I've witnessed this in so many different rooms, and it is such a gift. It is a gift that you are giving yourself when you can show up in a room and you can take off that social mask and you can show up exactly as you are. No pretending, you don't have to be anyone that you're not. You don't have to protect other people in your life. You can really, truly show up in your fullest self and allow yourself to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted just as you are. And that really is where the transformation begins. I just was in awe. And that's another word that came up, was just the word awe. I was in awe of every single woman that showed up and brought a unique story and a unique energy to this weekend. There was so much courage. It is definitely can feel a little unnerving when you step into a space and there's a lot of unknowns, right? Maybe even for the women who had come the year before, this year was different because of the energy that the women brought to this retreat this year. So every event that you attend, even though you may be going to the same event year after year, it's always going to be unique because of the energy that people are bringing to it. So to witness that, to witness a space where women who did not even know each other, and there were so many women who came on their own, which I just thought was amazing. They didn't know anyone. They signed up and they showed up. But to witness women coming together in that way from the beginning was probably the most incredible thing to witness. Honestly, I feel a little bit speechless because of it. So all in all, it was a beautiful, very transformative, connecting weekend, and we are already sort of planning what is going to be happening for next year. So if you are interested in joining us for our next retreat, make sure to DM me on Instagram, send me an email, reach out to me, let me know, and we will keep you posted. However, I also am excited because I just today have officially released tickets to another in-person event that I am hosting with another beautiful soul woman, Binu Dinza, and we are leading a powerful transformative day. It is called Manifest Her. And it is a spiritual journey to health and wealth. So it is going to be a full day event. It's in Burlington, Ontario. This is an event that is really for the women, leaders, business owners, coaches, but really for any woman who is wanting to elevate her life. She is ready to step into that power, to be her. She knows she is her, but maybe there's a few things in the way. And now she is like wanting to unleash that power. We're focusing on health and wealth because those are like the two aspects where we've personally have seen blocks in our own life. We've witnessed it with clients. And it's like when your health is aligned and your health is abundant, it really is the cornerstone of so much. And it's the same thing with wealth. And money is a part of wealth, but there is so much more as well. So we're going to be creating this day in such a way where you're going to have opportunities to learn. We have 2 panels of incredible women that are going to come and also share their own journey and what's worked for them. So we really want this event to be one where you leave feeling inspired and you are in a place of manifesting. So I'll be sharing more about it, but I want you to know I'm going to drop the link in the show notes for the tickets to the Manifest Her event that is happening on January 24th of 2025. So I hope that these takeaways resonate in some way and that you can find ways for you to integrate them into your own life today. And I want you to remember that you are spiritually wired and that you are her. You don't need to be perfect to grow more, to learn more. And remember that there is a community here that is here to support and to uplift you. So keep tuning into your power, keep showing up for yourself, and know that you are her. Thank you for listening to Spiritually Wired. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and leave a review. It really makes a big difference for the podcast. And if you're ready to dive deeper and join a soul-led community, come be a part of the Spiritually Wired membership. With weekly live lessons and a rich library of recorded classes, it's designed to support you every step of the way on your spiritual journey. We currently have a special offer where you can receive your first month for half the price. You can find a link in the show notes or come check it out at reneewalkerwellness.com. Until next time, remember to take some deep breaths. Remember that you are spiritually wired.